Hi, pro trader Bryan Bottarelli here. What I'm going to show you today should not exist. It's like a secret loophole, one that gives you a chance to collect overnight gains whenever the government releases major reports, like economic data on jobs or inflation or GDP growth or anything else. It's incredibly simple. Every time the government releases data, you make one trade. And this trade can hand you as much as 383% overnight. In my research, it wins at an 83% rate, and the average gain was 115% in 24 hours. That's winners and losers included. And you could do it 12 times per year. So let me stop right here and let that sink in for a moment. 12 times per year, that's once per month, there's a trade that you can make that on average could double your money. In the next few minutes, I'll lay out the results of our backtest, and get this, just $10,000 in every trade last year could have generated over $137,000 in profit. Now look, backtests are a powerful tool to see how a strategy plays out when looking back at years of data. They aren't indicative of future results, but they remove as much guesswork as possible and minimize risk. So when I saw 10,000 turn into 137,000, I was floored. Our research conclusively shows how big this opportunity is. So how is this possible? Look, I'm sure you've noticed that when the government releases economic news, the market reacts. It's like clockwork. An inflation report comes out and boom, the market shoots up. A weak jobs report is released and instantly the sell-off begins. Most people understand this basic fact, but they don't know how to play it. That's because most people do not know of a simple and powerful way to profit from government reports. But for the first time ever, I'm going to show you this trade today. This brand new investment and brand new strategy opens the doors to targeting huge overnight payouts from these major market moving events. And here's the key. You could do this no matter whether the market goes up or down. I call it the Jolts loophole. It's named after the government's jobs, openings, and labor turnover survey. All you have to do is make one simple trade the day before a major Jolts report comes out. And then, no matter whether the market reacts positively or negatively, you have the chance for huge gains. For instance, May 2nd of 2023, the government released its jobs report and it showed a weakening jobs market. Now, it was impossible to predict exactly how the market would react, but we all knew the market would move big one way or another. In this case, the Dow moved 367 points in one day, while the S&P moved 1.1%. And for that Jolts trade, it went as high as 383% overnight. Best of all, the 383% gain would have happened whether the Dow went 367 points in either direction. So if the market moves up or down, you can still make huge overnight gains. Direction does not matter. July 6th, here's another example. The jobs report came out, but this time the Dow fell 366 points. The S&P, it dropped 0.8%. And that Jolts loophole trade I'm going to show you today still shot up 327%. On August 29th, another jobs report came out. This time, the Dow was up 292 points. The S&P, it rose 1.5%. And yet, the Jolts loophole once again delivered an overnight gain as high as 253%. In other words, it doesn't matter whether the reports are good or bad. With the Jolts loophole, you could still make huge overnight payouts. Best of all, this trade couldn't be any simpler. You just make the trade the day before a Jolts report comes out. The dates are preset by the US government, so you know beforehand exactly when to trade. And the process is very straightforward. Here it is. Step 1, identify the next market-moving governmental report release date. Step 2, make one trade with one ticker the day before. And then step 3, close that trade after the report comes out for the chance at dramatic overnight profits. I mean, think about it. These 253%, 327%, even 383% gains are enough to hand you payouts of over $25,000, over $32,000, and heck, over $38,000, all of them coming overnight. What you're about to hear today is unlike anything you've ever read about or seen in the cable news, and certainly not anything you're likely to find on YouTube videos. This is a simple and effective way to turn every big jobs report into potentially instant profits. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal exactly how to turn these scheduled governmental reports into overnight profit opportunities. I'll also show you for free the one specific stock ticker to play for the chance to cash in repeatedly from this phenomenon. And it all starts right now. As I said, my name is Bryan Bottarelli. If you aren't familiar with me or my work, more than 2 decades ago, I got my start in the rough and tumble world of the live trading pit of the Chicago Board of Options Exchange, or the CBOE. It was fast and it was furious. The action was fun and the money was incredible. But in the years since, I left the pit to help regular people become pro traders. I've come to love a very specific way of trading. In short, I love to find powerful catalysts and then use an unusual type of trade that could turn one of those catalysts into big money. Let me give you a quick story to illustrate this. You see, back in the trading pit, I discovered that what made a normal dead and boring pit turn into a beehive of activity was one specific catalyst. And that was when earnings reports came out. So, for instance, IBM, it was normally a snooze fest in the trading pit all year long, except for the 4 days a year when IBM was set to announce their earnings. On those days, everything changed. The place was flooded with people and the pit was overwhelmed with buy and sell orders from all over the country. I mean, all over the world, really. It was insane. So on those days, I looked at what was happening and I wondered, would it be possible to turn that predictable excitement into profits? At first, I didn't think it was possible. I mean, yeah, I knew that earnings reports were coming out, and yes, I knew that it would lead to a big frenzy, but the hard part was picking which way to play the stock, up or down. It was next to impossible to figure out whether the company would release positive or negative earnings. I mean, even a good earnings report didn't necessarily translate into a surge in the stock price. I mean, I almost gave up the idea of creating a consistent way to profit. But then I discovered a strategy that I call overnight trades. These are trades that I get into one day before a catalyst like an earnings report and then got out the very next day, all with the goal of doubling my money in 24 hours. But here's what makes these overnight trades so special. These aren't just regular stocks or options or anything you've likely heard of. The overnight trades I discovered allowed me to profit from the volatility of the stock and not just the price move. So if the stock moved big, either up or down, I would win either way. So for example, when Clorox released earnings last year, I recommended an overnight trade on it. The earnings release was positive and we made a quick 80%. On the other hand, we also recommended a play on Advanced Auto Parts when earnings came out in May of 2023. And those earnings were terrible. They missed Wall Street's expectations and the shares plummeted 35%. But because these trades win in both directions, we still made a top-performing 293% overnight on that one too. So this has worked incredibly well for us on earnings. However, as much success as we've had trading earnings, I found something even better going forward. I developed an entirely new kind of overnight trade, one that takes the special trade I developed on earnings reports to a whole new level. It's designed to be the most consistent, effective, and powerful trade I've found in my entire career. And it's based around the ultimate catalyst, the Jolts report. I mean, as you probably know, every time the government releases the jobs numbers, also known as the Jolts survey, the entire market moves big. I'm sure you've noticed this watching the news. Every time there's a jobs report, the market reacts. It's exactly what I saw with my earnings trades. But instead of an event moving just one particular company, the Jolts reports move the entire market. And the volatility caused by the Jolts reports has gotten stronger and stronger over the last few years. And right now, you could use just one ticker symbol, just one, to potentially profit repeatedly. With this method, when volatility is big, you win. And with my technique, the overnight gains can be huge, as high as 383%. All because on the days that the government releases these Jolt surveys, the price moves are much larger than normal. Because we have a way to turn the extra volatility into an unfair advantage. Now, look, in today's market, about the only thing that is certain is volatility. As Barron says, volatility is here to stay. But on these government release days, the volatility is way higher than normal. Now, I never realized how big this phenomenon was until I dug into the data. I went back over the past 10 years of market data, spanning across, give or take, 2,516 individual trading days, and here's what I found. On any typical day, the market moves around 0.05%. But of the 121 days the government releases Jolt reports, the market moves 222% more. So the moves are more than triple that of any normal trading day. However, lately the moves have been even bigger. In the past 3 years, on the day of a Jolts report release, the market moves 425% more than usual. That means these reports make the market move 5 times bigger than the average day. And in the past 2 years, brace yourselves, the moves have been 824% bigger. That's 9 times bigger swings. I mean, guys, this is huge. It means that we know with a high level of certainty exactly which days will feature the biggest moves in the market. So if we have a trade that targets profits from the biggest moves, then we could make a great deal of money. I'll explain how it works in just a moment, but first you may be wondering why this is all happening. Well, remember, I worked in the live trading pit. This was back when people met physically at the exchange and made deals. It was wild and crazy with buyers and sellers fighting for position, but still there was a limit on how much trading could get done. However, now computerized trading has taken over. And guess what? That just makes trading frenzies even more dramatic. Nowadays, algorithms are making the trading decisions. Fewer and fewer actual people are deciding when to enter and exit a trade. Instead, computers simply multiply the trades faster and faster on any big trading day. And guys, this is not going away. If anything, price swings will become even more dramatic as more firms use artificial intelligence to make trading decisions. On CNBC, Guy Deblone of Jupiter Asset Management pointed out that 80 to 90% of all daily trading volume is done by machines. He basically says that these trading algorithms can exponentially increase the volatility without any basis in fundamentals. Bottom line is, increased volatility is the new norm of trading. And on days when the market is in a frenzy, which tends to happen right after every single Jolts report, the frenzy is magnified by all the automatic computer trading. That's why days when Jolts reports come out now feature market moves over 800% bigger than an average trading day. And this is our biggest opportunity, because I'm about to show you a special kind of trade that profits purely from volatility, which means you could use this secret to bank far higher profits every single time one of these Jolts reports are released. That's why I consider this the very best way to aim to turn market volatility into huge payouts. And with the technique I'm about to show you, it doesn't matter if the market soars higher or crashes lower, because all you need is big volatility, using just one ticker symbol, and these trades are winners. And I'm sure you're wondering, How often can these trades make big overnight payouts? Well, I've been researching how this phenomenon could have played out over the past year. And compiling the data on how the market moved in reaction to these Jolts surveys, looking back, I found that these trades would have had an 83% win rate. And not only that, but the average gain for these trades was 115%. And guys, that's 115% overnight. So I want you to imagine this right now. Using this trade, you could lay out a calendar with every Jolts report throughout the year. There are 12 of them. Then you simply make the same trade each and every time. And our research shows the average gain overnight came out to 115%. That's a double in 24 hours. And you have 12 opportunities every year to do this. It's incredible. All we need to generate a big winner is a move of 1% in either direction. And the average daily moves on days these Jolts reports came out across 10 years of market data is 1.16%. I mean, that's well over that 1% threshold. And over the last 2 years, it's even higher. The average move on Jolts days is 1.39%. So the odds are automatically in your favor. These reports are the very best chance to move the market big, and we know exactly when they come out. And we also know exactly what type of trade I believe has the best chance of being a winner. By now, I'm sure you could see why I now think these governmental reports are the biggest chance to get regular payouts. For example, using my system, we would have known that the new Jolts report was coming out on November 1st of 2023. This date was set by the US government. It was 100% certain. So this strategy would have made a special trade on October 31st, the day before that scheduled announcement. You also don't have to guess what trade to make. We use the same ticker symbol every single time. And I'll tell you what that symbol is right now. It's SPY. It's the ETF on the S&P 500. So go ahead and write it down. The 3 letters, SPY. Traders often call it the SPY. But the key is the way we trade the SPY overnight and put the odds squarely in our favor. We're essentially taking out as many variables as we possibly can. I mean, there's no question on the timing, and there's no question on the trade that you make. These are 100% certain. We just use my 3-step process that I told you earlier. Step 1, identify the next market-moving governmental report release date. Step 2, make one simple Jolts loophole trade on the SPY the day before. And then step 3, close that trade after the Jolts report is released for a chance at dramatic overnight profits. So what happened to this trade on November 1st? Well, the Jolts survey came out and it showed little change at the number of job openings. It was holding at around 9.6 million. The Fed then hinted that it might not need to pump the brakes on the economy any further. And that sent the market up higher. The Dow that day added 221 points, while the S&P, it rose 1.1%. But look, with my special trade, you didn't have to fight the crowd to get in that morning. You were in the day before. All you had to do was make sure that you were in by 4 p.m. before the closing bell on the day before that report. I mean, it maybe takes 5 minutes max. Then go about your business for the rest of the evening. Go to bed, and then the next morning, you're at the front of the line. So when everyone else is trying to get into this trade after the report is released, you're the one cashing out. On this specific trade, you could have multiplied the market's 1% move by 52x and made as much as a 58% gain overnight. But look, that's one of the smaller winners I uncovered in my research over the past year. There's actually a strange secret behind the biggest winners that I uncovered, and you'll be shocked when you hear it. I'll tell you in just a second. But before that, I want to tell you about the trade from August 29th of 2023. Job openings fell more than expected this day. In this case, it was a bad report, but was actually good news because Wall Street assumed that a cooling economy meant that the Fed would pause interest rate hikes. On this day, the S&P rose by 1.5%. Big move. But with my system, you wouldn't have to try to rush in while the market was soaring higher. because you got in the day before. That way, you're golden. Because when the market did rise 1.5%, you could have beaten the market by 168 times and cashed out with gains as high as 253%, all coming overnight. So clearly, these amazing trades could have produced winner after winner in the year 2023. But what about 2022? Well, let's go back to November 30th of 2022 and see, okay? The Jolts survey that day showed the number of job openings fell and the number of layoffs and discharges increased. Once again, it was bad news. But Jerome Powell signaled that the Fed would slow their rate hikes moving forward, and that sent the market soaring. The Dow this day was up over 700 points. The S&P, it blasted up 3%. But this amazing trade would have multiplied that gain by over 77 times and could have made as much as 223% overnight. Now, just consider the beauty of this kind of trade. You don't have to predict what the report will say, whether jobs will be added or lost. Who cares? You don't even have to predict whether the market will react positively or negatively to the news. Instead, you're making volatility give you a huge payday. If the volatility is big, you win. It's as simple as that. Whether the market surges higher or crashes lower, you win. In fact, in 2023, the market moved down in response to these reports far more often than it moved up. And guess what? The gains on those down days were even bigger. So let's take a look. Using my system, we would know that the new Jolts report survey was scheduled for release on July 6th. Again, those dates are scheduled by the U.S. government. There's no question, no debate. They are 100% certain to happen. So we'd make a special trade the day before on July 5th. And in this case, the market reacted badly. It actually fell off a cliff this day. Now, most people freak out anytime there's a big market drop. But with this trade, we would have gotten in the day before, slept soundly, and even as everyone else was freaking out the next day as the Dow lost 366 points and the S&P dropped 0.8%, you would have been laughing all the way to the bank. In fact, you could have locked in gains as high as 327% overnight. I mean, just imagine watching a $5,000 trade grow into over $16,000 overnight. And not only that, but it was on a day when everyone else was losing their minds. I mean, this method gives you a superpower. You get to take all of the biggest ups and downs in the market and turn all of them into big wins. And you don't have to guess the timing. You don't have to guess what's the next hot stock. You use the same ticker symbol every time. And you get to smile and celebrate when the market soars or when it crashes. Because with this unique trade, when the volatility is big, you win. This eliminates almost all the uncertainty and variables when it comes to trading. And it's all thanks to our simple three-step process. Step 1, identify the next market-moving governmental report release date. Step 2, make one simple Jolts loophole trade on the SPY the day before. And then step 3, close the trade after the Jolts report is released for the chance at dramatic overnight profits. As I said earlier, this trade would have won last year 83% of the time Jolts trades came out. The average gain was 115%, more than a double every single time. And all of this takes less than 24 hours. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, how are we able to profit whether the market moves up or down? Well, this isn't a typical way of trading. It combines a little-known trading technique with a brand new type of investment. It's something that we call zero-day options, or you might have seen them referenced as 0 DTE. You've probably heard about them in the news. I mean, these are extremely, extremely popular right now. In fact, a Bank of America report states that 40% of the trading volume on the S&P 500 comes from zero-day options. I mean, TipRank says that the daily value of zero-day options trading is a shocking $1 trillion. I mean, no wonder the Wall Street Journal says that these options have taken over the market and offers the chance at explosive returns. I mean, this is one of the biggest shifts in the markets in the past decade. These are the cheapest way to capture market moves and go for bigger returns. But most people are using them the wrong way. Normally, people try to bet whether the market will go up or go down. And that's when the odds are against you. But we know something 99.9% of the traders out there don't know. That is, we can put the odds in our favor. You've seen in our research looking back, this technique could have won on 10 out of 12 trades last year. That's an incredible 83% win rate. Zero-day options are the secret to taking these reactions to governmental reports and turning them into big payouts. Remember, that trade on May 1st turned a 1.1% move in the market into a 383% overnight gain. Options are the only way to make double and triple digit gains from these daily market moves, and the only way to win when a stock moves big in either direction. Now, a lot of people start out intimidated with the idea of trading options, but listen, once you try it for yourself, you'll discover buying options is as easy as buying a stock. And when you combine these new zero-day options with my trading strategy, it takes out all the guesswork. We only get in when we know for a fact that the government is about to drop a major report, and volatility is expected to be 824% higher than normal. Then all we have to do is wait overnight and get out the very next day. It's the most stress-free way I know to trade options. And what's great is there are 12 Jolts reports that come out every single year. That's 12 times that you could target huge gains, even doubling your money or more overnight. In fact, let's walk through an entire year of trading around these reports and see what happens. So let me walk you through every single trade from 2023. You'll see all the good, all the bad, and all the ugly. I'm holding nothing back. And this is key because no system is perfect. As I said earlier, our numbers show the trade working 83% of the time. This means that 17% of the time it loses. You have to be smart about how you trade and never put too much onto any one particular trade. Some of the trades will lose. However, when the odds are in your side, over time, the results can really add up. So I'm going to give you all the data so you could see it for yourself. So let's start out with the first Jolts report of 2023. And let's also assume that you started with $10,000 and made every trade throughout the whole year, including every win and every loss. Okay, so the first report dropped on January 4th. So again, knowing the report would be released, we would have made our special play on the S&P, which is the SPY, the day before on January 3rd. I mean, remember, we have no idea how the market will react, only that it is very likely to react in a big way, one way or another. So in this particular case, the report showed the number of job openings was higher than expected. That made Wall Street optimistic that the economy could avoid a recession. As a result, the S&P on that day rose 0.8%, and our trade would have gone up as much as 33%. You would have added as much as $3,350 to your account that day. That's over $3,300 in profit overnight, and it's all thanks to this U.S. government report. Now, keep in mind, in 2023, the S&P 500 ended up going up 24% over the course of the entire year. So right here, you could have gotten more than a year's worth of gains in just one day. But the fun didn't stop there. The next report came out on February 1st, and it was another positive report showing a strong jobs environment. As a result, the Wall Street reacted positively and the S&P on that day rose 1%. And for the special trade that we recommended, it was the same thing, almost identical to the January winner, actually. Overnight gains were once again as high as 33%. So once again, you would have added another $3,330 to your account. Then in March, another report came out. And this time it was rare. The market actually stayed flat, which was very unusual. And this is the scenario where the trade wouldn't have panned out. This one would have been a 31% loss. Now, look, losses are no fun, and I hate them too. But this is where most people would say, okay, you know what, this doesn't really work, I quit. And that would be a huge mistake. Because if you stick with the system where the probability is on your side, over time, you can be successful. And so far, even with the trade that didn't work out, you still have $3,680 in profit on your original $10,000 starting stake. The first two wins so far have outweighed that one loss, and more wins were about to come. I mean, look what would have happened if you didn't quit and kept going. For April, a negative report came out with weak numbers, and once again, this started fueling the recession fears. But despite the market falling that day, the gains would have been 83% overnight. So right there, there's another $8,320 added to your banked profits. And then in May, it goes bananas, because that's when you would have hit a massive 383% winner. So now you're banking $38,300 in overnight profit. In total, you started with $10,000, but just after 5 trades, you'd have over $50,000 in profit, and that includes that one loss. I mean, see why you can't just throw in the towel after a losing trade? In June, the report actually dropped on May 31st. You would have made 61% for as much as over $6,100 in profits. And then in July, the report was another big one, a 327% gain, and an extra $32,700 in overnight profits. I mean, those numbers are just insane. I mean, the next month, that's another $1,300 added. And then September's report is another huge 253% winner. So again, that's over $25,000 in overnight profit going into the bank. In October, you added another $16,570. November, you added $5,830. And then in December, unfortunately, a small loss of 6%. But you probably don't really mind that loss very much, because by the end of the year, with winners and losers factored in, you're looking at total profits as high as $137,000. Okay, so let's compare, right? $10,000 parked into the S&P 500 would have made you a whopping $2,400 last year. Or you could have traded with that same $10,000 and this system, and using just 12 Jolts reports that come out over the course of the year, you would have banked profits as high as $137,000. I mean, there is really no comparison. Now, you always need to remember that nothing in trading is guaranteed and that every trade carries risk. So never invest more than you can afford to lose. But last year, there would have been 10 winners with 2 losers. I mean, I will take those odds any day of the week. And this is why I love this trade so much. With the market moving 824% higher now, when a Jolts report comes out, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Volatility is just so much higher on these specific days. This strategy can be life-changing for people because you don't have to stress out about what the market will do this next year. It works whether the market crashes or whether the market surges. As you saw for every trade last year, as long as the market reacts strongly, up or down, you win. And even with the losses, the success rate last year would have been about 83%. And you could have taken just $10,000 and generated over $137,000 in trading profits. This is why I love the chance at collecting overnight profits thanks to these governmental reports all year long. But there's something I haven't told you yet. up until now, we've been discussing the Jolts survey. But the Jolts reports are just the tip of the iceberg. In addition to them, the government also releases 48 different types of other reports, including inflation and export numbers and even Fed minutes. That means you have more than 48 additional chances to target huge gains. For instance, November 14th of 2023, the government released inflation numbers. Now, as I'm sure you know, inflation is a hot button topic for most people. Everyone is laser focused on it when it comes out. So when the government released the inflation numbers, which are called the CPI, the market reacted. The Dow rallied over 480 points and the S&P rose 1.9%. That was enough to create gains as high as 215% overnight. But that's just one of the other governmental reports that can move the market. On September 15th, the government released their import and export report. Now, this one isn't widely known to most people watching the market, but once again, the day these reports are released, the market reacts. On that day, the S&P lost 1.2%. And as we've seen, falling markets can be even more profitable. In this case, this strategy would have seen overnight gains as high as 247%. The bottom line here is there are a lot of big numbers that come out from the government almost every single week, from inflation reports to import reports to jobs numbers and even Fed announcements. That means there's plenty of opportunities to trade around these major market events and capture overnight gains from these government releases. Looking ahead, there's a lot of exciting reports I'm looking forward to right now. Of course, I'm going to be primarily focused on the next Jolts survey, which is coming out soon. Remember the data I just showed you? The Jolts survey last year could have hit an 83% win rate for these types of trades, with an average overnight gain of 115%. And you just saw for yourself how $10,000 could have generated profits over $137,000 if you just traded all 12 over the course of a year. So I'm pumped for the next Jolts number to come out soon. But again, there's plenty of other reports I'm watching. The upcoming inflation numbers, both the CPI and the PPI, are scheduled to go out within the next few weeks. And I'll be watching those like a hawk. Plus, the next Fed meeting is always a big market mover. For example, December 13th, the Fed released their minutes showing that rate cuts could come in 2024. Markets love this, and they shot up like a rocket. The S&P 500 rose 1.4%. And the same trade we used on the Jolts would have made as much as 165% overnight on just that one Fed announcement. I mean, the opportunities here, guys, are just incredible. And that's why I'm going live on Tuesday to reveal my game plan for this next report and how I'm going to set up a trade that can give us a chance at overnight gains. And I want you to be there with me. That's right. Today, I'm inviting you to join me in my brand new live stream. Every single week, I'll discuss opportunities like these Jolts loophole trades that I've been telling you about today. It's 100% live, so you can watch me set up the trade live on camera. I'll take you through the entire three-step process. Step 1, identify the next market-moving government release. Step 2, tell you the exact trade we'll make on the SPY for that week. And step 3, give you an action plan to close out the trade the next day for the chance at dramatic overnight profits. I'll walk you through everything live on camera every single week. And you can even look over my shoulder as I show you the entire trade setup. It's the closest thing you can possibly get to having a pro trader sit next to you every week and give you the best opportunity to make money. We'll show you the exact report we are looking at to trade that next week, the exact option contract we're entering, and the profit plan we have for exiting that trade for the maximum payout and maximum overnight gains. And since it's 100% live, I could share my screen with you. It's like looking over my shoulder and getting a secret glimpse into how I look at the market and find the best opportunities. You'll see either me or my colleague Karim every single week. It's so simple, and it won't take up much of your time at all. It'll be about 30 minutes or less just one day a week. That's all you need for the chance at huge overnight profits that we've talked about today. And don't forget, you've already seen the Jolts survey trades that could have made as much as 253%, 327%, even 383% overnight. And other reports could have made gains as high as 165% and 247%. Again, all coming overnight. With the Jolts loophole, we've tried to eliminate all the guesswork. You don't have to guess on the next big stock to surge or when to get into or out of these trades. The days are set in stone by the US government. You just need one ticker every time, which is the SPY, SPY. You know when to get in the day before the report comes out, and you know when to get out the very next day when the report drops. And finally, you don't even have to guess what the market reaction will be. Whether the market surges or crashes, as long as it moves big, you'll win. I'll be scouring the market for the best reports to make trades on. I'll be watching the Fed announcements, the inflation reports, the GDP numbers, and of course, the upcoming Jolts survey. Whenever I think we have the best report coming up for a special overnight profit trade, I'll give you the full details in our live weekly briefing. But that's not all you get when you subscribe today. As one of the first members to this brand new live stream, I've also put together a special report for you to get a running start. I call it the Jolts loophole, the secret of huge overnight profits from government reports. I'll go into detail on how these reports move the markets and how to turn these moves into dramatic overnight gains. You'll see the exact method we use to make trades on the SPY that can profit whether the market goes up or down. And I promise you, you won't find this strategy anywhere else. I'd guess somewhere around 99.9% of traders don't even know how to trade options like this. And I haven't found anyone else who has figured out how to use this strategy around the days when the government drops their economic reports. So you'll be the first ever to discover this strategy for yourself. The second thing I'll give you is a special calendar called Overnight Profit 2024 Calendar. The government reports that could be your chance for overnight profits. In this calendar, I've put together the full calendar of all the major market moving dates when government reports drop. Every one of them could be your chance to make big overnight profits. This is the exact same calendar I'll be using to plan out our trades every single week. Now, I'll be picking what I think are the very best trades. But with this calendar, you could do trades every single time a report comes out if you choose. Or you could pick and choose the other extra ones that you'd like to trade around. With the first report, you'll know exactly how to make these trades. And with this calendar, you'll know exactly when. Bottom line, you'll have plenty of opportunities to make huge overnight profits in this next year. But I'm still not done. I also have a special guide to help you trade options, even if you are a complete beginner. I call it the Pro Trader's Options Guide. This guide makes trading options as easy as buying a stock. You'll learn the right way to trade options and how to avoid all the newbie mistakes. We'll show you how to set up an options account if you've never placed a trade before, the basic terms used in options trading, and everything else you need to know about trading options. And again, even if options are intimidating to you right now, I promise that after reading this report, you'll know more than 99.9% of other traders out there. And listen, during my live stream sessions every single week, I'll give you the exact instructions on which options to trade and how. And once you buy options, you'll never look at the market the same way again. These bonuses are all my gifts to you for simply taking me up on a risk-free trial subscription of my new service, Catalyst Cashouts Live. Catalyst Cashouts Live is a new live stream for the trading research service run by me and by my fellow co-founder Karim Ramhamtullah, a genius trader in his own right. We give out weekly trade recommendations on the very best opportunities we see in the market. And it all starts with our weekly live stream briefing that I've already told you about. Every single week on Tuesday at exactly 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we go live. You'll see us on camera discussing the week and the setups we are most excited about. Bottom line, we make it easy for you to succeed. All you have to do is watch my live stream Tuesday at 2 p.m. And if you can't join live, we'll record it for you at your convenience. Then decide if the investment is right for you. And finally, make the trade at my recommended price. And that's it. You can go on with your life for the week and repeat those 3 steps the following Tuesday. It really is that simple. And keep in mind, we've designed this service to work around your busy schedule. So when it's time to make a trade, we'll send you an email. And you could also get our trade alerts sent right to your computer or right to your smartphone. You don't have to sit in front of your computer all day long, and you don't have to make the trade immediately when you see the alert. This is designed to work around your schedule. And with Karim and me, you could be winning in no time. But guys, don't take my word for it. People just like you have used our recommendations to get many other jaw-dropping results. Take a look at these testimonials from some of our happiest members before we launch this new live stream. Eric O, he wrote in to tell us, thanks for the great recommendation. I am up 45% at this time on one play in 1 month. That's an easy 4,000 profit today. And then there's Pamela S, who bought our Rocket Company's recommendation. She said she'd cleared a 60% profit in 1 month. Our Hertz trade in September was another one. Daniel T reported being up 67% in 1 month. John R, he landed a 52% in 1 month. And Eric K bought it, told us he was busy and rarely checked his account, and then opened it to see a 79.5% win in 2 months. And we think this new live stream will give you the chance at even bigger profits coming even faster. Seeing people succeed and understand how life-changing it is to be a successful trader is all the reward that I need. Our recommendation on Jasper Therapeutics in October of 2021 is a great example. We recommended it on the 7th, and by the 13th, we were up 50%. Peter H said, watched your video over the weekend, bought it yesterday at 8:14, and it's OMG today. And take a look at Gino, who played one of my recommendations on a stock, SoFi. He made a 156% profit within a day thanks to an options play. If you haven't experienced big returns in your portfolio that fast, it's time you change that. Once you see for yourself how you can truly extract money from the market far faster than you have ever imagined, a whole new world of possibilities open up for you. So today, you're invited to become a member of this live stream service. Now, typical weekly options trading research services sell for around $5,000 or more. So the retail price of $997 for Catalyst Cashouts Live is absolutely a steal. But as a new member, you're entitled to get an even better deal. But before I blow your mind with how little it'll cost you to join us, I want you to really think about this invitation right now and everything you're getting. You get weekly access to 2 pro traders every single week, and you get to see us live. And you get to access a trade that last year would have turned a $10,000 starting stake into more than $137,000. We are beyond excited to share these trades with our new followers every week. And you even get to ask our moderator team questions during the live stream. We do all the work so you don't have to. We tell you exactly what to buy and when. We sort through countless opportunities in the market and hand deliver to you on a silver platter the very best money-making idea that we can find, and we do it all for you live every single week. Plus, you get access to all of the bonus reports that I told you about, including the Jolts loophole report. This is where I reveal the secret of huge overnight profit from governmental reports and go into detail on how these reports move the markets and how to turn these moves into dramatic overnight gains. You can get our Overnight Profit 2024 calendar and all the upcoming governmental reports release dates for this year. Then there's the Pro Trader's Options Guide and the Secret to the Win Both Ways Trade Report. But here's even more of the many benefits that you'll get by joining this new live stream service. You'll also get access to our model portfolio, including all of our current recommendations. Plus, you'll get access to our concierge team. Karim and I have trained our friendly staff to quickly answer any questions you might have regarding your membership. And our moderators are trained to answer any general questions you have about our trading strategies and our techniques. Now, of course, they can't give you personal investment advice. I'm sure you know that. However, please feel free to call or email them anytime, and they'll be happy to help you however they can. Then there's something else I haven't told you about. We have a new app that allows you to receive recommendations and analysis while you're on the run. So that way, if a Jolts report is coming up, you can expect to see the full instructions how to trade it pop right up on your phone. That way, it's so easy for you to make a trade. And look, this is worth repeating. If you've ever looked at any financial research, getting trades every single week will easily cost you around $5,000, if not more. For this level of service, for a live stream with 2 market experts and live access to our moderators and our trading research community, our publisher thinks the retail price of $997 is insane. But as a new member, I'm extending a special discount to you today. If you say yes right now, you can get a full year's access to Catalyst Cash Outs Live for just $149. That's all. That's less than $3 a week for our live stream. That is a steal, honestly. That's why it's only available right now to our new members. Click on that button below and join us for a year of overnight profit opportunities. And rest assured, this is truly a risk-free proposition for you. You have a full year to take a look at everything. Even attend every single live stream. And if you feel this isn't well worth every single penny that you paid, give my team a call and we'll refund everything that you pay today. I can't think of anything fairer than that. I've taken all the risk off for you and put it squarely on my shoulders to prove that we're the real deal and that we'll deliver you winner after winner. Now, the choice is yours. Where do you want to go from here? The way I see it, you only have 3 options. Option 1, you could ignore everything you heard today. You can decide you don't want to try to make overnight profits when the US government releases their reports. You could ignore the past data showing you have a ridiculous advantage, and you can forget about the fact that you could have taken $10,000 and generated over $137,000 in profits last year. Option 2, you could decide to try this alone. You could dig up all the dates for the upcoming reports, and you can try to figure out the best options for you to trade, and you could try to figure out whether the market will move up or down based on a report, and hopefully you have a crystal ball. Or, what I consider the best option is option 3. You can let me do all the work for you through Catalyst Cash Out Live. I'll keep track of all the reports. I'll dig into the data month by month and make sure we pick the reports that I believe have historically given the best chance of success. And I'll show you the exact trade to make so that you could win whether the market goes up or down. I hope you choose to join me in my new live stream and let me do all the hard work for you. Click that button right now and lock in your new member discount. Don't let this price pass you up. Remember, the special price and these bonus reports are only for our charter members of our new Catalyst Cash Out Live. Don't wait another moment. My next live stream starts soon, and I'll be dropping my next trade. So click on that button right now, and I'll see you live Tuesday at 2.